A judge has permanently blocked Donald Trump from using military funding to build his stupid border wall. This is being reported by Slate. A federal judge in Texas ruled against Donald Trump, trying to take $3.6 billion from military construction funds to build the border wall. A permanent injunction has been made to block Donald Trump trying to do this or doing it on the basis that the executive branch, which is where Donald Trump exists, does not have the constitutional authority to take money that has been appropriated by Congress. The judge in this particular case was District Court Judge David Briones, a Clinton appointee, which of course is going to be the subject of Donald Trump. And Trump is saying, look at these terrible biased people, has made a permanent what was previously a temporary injunction from October. This, according to the Washington Post, is, quote, the first instance of a local jurisdiction successfully suing to block construction of Donald Trump's border barrier. Now, there's a few things that I want to talk about here. Number one, what we're really talking about here is a form of theft, and I think it's important to use those terms. Trump diverting military funds that have been appropriated for the military and using them for a pet political project, that is a form of theft. Now, is it criminal theft, the type that the police come and arrest you for, and then, you get yourself a lawyer and try to get probation over? No, it's not that type of theft, but it is a type of theft. And we know that this is the way Donald Trump has operated in his business career for a very, very long time. Now, if you want to take the position of we want to support and defend the military, we need to treat those who choose to serve so that we don't need to draft well, all the stuff that the right claims to want to do, support the troops, yellow ribbons, and all of this stuff. Military spending that has been debated and approved and appropriated, it should actually be used to protect our troops, to protect national security interests. If you believe in American dominance around the world, that's not my politics, but again, I'm thinking of it from the point of view of a right winger. You would want it used for that, to project power, all this stuff that right wingers claim to want and whatever. You should be furious that the president is saying, I'm going to take the money, $3.6 billion, and I'm going to build a border wall, particularly when we've seen time and again that the entire idea of a border wall to fix the problem of undocumented immigration is simply a bad idea from the get-go. We have looked at that in detail when we talk about, number one, if you really want to deal with the problem of undocumented immigration, then you've got to deal with, number one, overstayed visas. Number two, let's deal with the proximate causes in other countries that are pushing people to want to come to the United States. That would be a far more stimulative use of money. It wouldn't require stealing $3.6 billion from the military in order to build the wall. And then, of course, you get to the specifics of the wall. You can get a $100 tool at a hardware store, as we discussed, and cut the prototype wall that Donald Trump thinks is virtually impenetrable. You can climb over it, as we've seen done in a number of viral YouTube videos. And then in the end, remember, undocumented and documented immigrants commit crimes in the United States at lower rates than native-born Americans. Even undocumented immigrants are stimulative to the economy, not only because there are entire industries that depend on them, including agricultural industry and the restaurant industry, but by virtue of being here undocumented, very often undocumented immigrants, as I've said before, this isn't news, are paying into welfare programs that they will never draw money from. I'm not cheering about that. I think people who pay in should be able to draw benefits, but that's the reality. That's stimulative. That keeps that floats the viability of a lot of these programs. And on every level, the quote analysis of this issue that we've seen from the right is completely wrong. We are also at some point, hopefully, going to see Trump held accountable by Trumpists for the fact that he didn't build the wall, if the Trumpists realize this, because you have two different situations with Trumpists and the wall. One is they believe he's building it. Trump has tweeted dozens of times the wall is being built. It's not. There are some sections of wall that were already there before, fencing, that were scheduled to be replaced, and they are being replaced, repaired, whatever you would call it. So there are some Trumpists who say, oh, he is building it. Now, we saw CNN interviewed 6 white women without college education about how Trump is doing for people who voted for Trump in 2016. And when at least one of them was presented with the fact that Trump hasn't built the wall, that's a promise he hasn't kept, she excused it by saying, well, that's not because of Trump, that's because of Democrats or something else, right? So that's motivated reasoning to find someone else to blame for Trump's failures. And I would expect both of those to play a big role in Trump retaining a lot of his 2016 support in 2020. Let me know what you think about all of this, about the judge's decision, about the wall, about Trump voters thinking he either is building it or that it's not getting built, but it's not really his fault.